What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode, another rendition of Studying Cinema with Cozy. Today, we're going to be reviewing one of Kevin Hart's classic movies from the early 2000s. A movie that I'm pretty sure it did come out before Soul Plane. And that's Paper Soldier, starring Kevin Hart, Beanie Siegel. And, this movie takes place in Philadelphia back in 2002. And I ain't going to lie, even though it's a comedy, it's kind of lighthearted, it has its jokes here and there. This movie is one of the hardest movies to get through from that era. I ain't even gonna lie to you. With the way that the plot goes, you feel me? It feels like it's like two movies in one, kind of. Like the movie's pacing and the scenes and the way it's cut and edited. Man, you could tell it's really like a passion project for somebody from the early 2000s that was able to get, Kevin Hart, Beanie Siegel, and a couple other actors up in the movie, you feel me? I don't know who. Matter of fact, let me search that up right now. Who is directed by? You feel me? Because Dame Dash, you feel me? Of course, Dame Dash, you feel me? That's the type of vibe that it gives, like a little passion project type genre. But if I'm not mistaken, Dame Dash also made Paid in Full, you feel me? And that movie miles better than this movie right here, you feel me? This movie, the way I could best judge this movie is just based off of the timing, the people that made the film, the actors, and taking all of that into consideration and not critiquing it too harshly based off of the other movies that I've seen throughout this era. And with that being said, I still kind of rate it like a C or a D on a A through F scale because it's just one of those movies that you watch one time and then, you may cut it on when you got friends or company over as a little background movie, but it's not one of those movies that you're going to keep on coming back to. The movie starts off with Kevin Hart, and you meet his friends, and you kind of get introduced to everybody and what their background is and who they are. And early on in the movie, they let you know that Kevin Hart, he has a little troubled past. His character has a troubled past, I should say. And, he's dealing with his probation officer, being on his ass when it comes to showing up for these exams, you feel me, making sure that he's testing his urine and not smoking weed. He's doing everything that he can to stay out of trouble, but he's also strapped for cash right now. He's trying to come up, you feel me? And having your back up against the wall with the bread and also having to deal with your probation officer puts you in a little sticky situation, and that's where we find Kevin Hart's character. And his character's name is Sean, by the way. So you see Sean going out and he starts, robbing houses, you feel me? He starts breaking into folks' houses, stealing cash, stealing jewelry, whatever he can. But every decision that he makes throughout this movie just makes you question his mentality. Like, man, is you really trying to get ahead, or is you really just stuck in this stagnant situation where you can't really grow mentally? This man makes some of the worst decisions throughout the movie, and he just lets people just do whatever to him. He don't got no backbone, you feel me? He let Beanie Siegel come up in here and run the whole show. Come up in the barbershop telling him, like, yeah, we're going to rob this house, nigga. Like, you going to listen to me. We're going to rob this house, and that's what we're going to do. And he ain't got no backbone. Now he caught up with Beanie Siegel after his first partner got caught up with the house robbing. He caught up with Beanie Siegel now. Now he out there busting in doors with Beanie. And Beanie ended up getting caught up in a little something on the first break-in. The first break-in they do together, they got Charlie Murphy shooting at him. Off rip. Charlie Murphy in the cut. Boom. On their ass. Shooting at him. So, Beanie Siegel, he a little crash out, you feel me? And we see Kevin Hart have to deal with this crash out, deal with the other homies that he know a little bit better than them. He's dealing with all of these relationships that come back to him just being careless, you feel me? He ain't got no real care for himself or for others throughout this film. But we're going to watch the trailer. And, after the trailer, we're going to discuss it a little bit deeper, you feel me?
Yeah, I'm so black, I play hide and go seek when I was young. They ain't find me till I was grown.
See, that's how they start off the trailer. Some bullshit, some ignorant shit.
Birdie.
And I want to be black so bad that I got a picture of Don Cornelius under my pillow.
Johnny.
I'm sure not black, plus I got real big teeth.
Sean. They were three friends with a plan.
You told me we were just gonna go check the spot out.
Well, we checked it out. Now we checking in.
Rob from the rich.
You gonna pick the lock?
Yeah, I'm a locksmith.
I didn't know that.
Give to themselves.
Oh, look at that. Dropped a lot of my money. I can't stand when I drop like 30,000 like that. You see that?
And get the girl.
You must not know, and they can own this.
Really?
Half. Like this half.
Considering my cousin owns the whole thing, I don't know how that's gonna happen.
Get mom, put it back.
Let me hear
But
say.
they weren't the only.
And with the way that this trailer is showing the movie, I ain't gonna lie to you, the editing in this film does not do this trailer justice as far as storytelling. This trailer tells a clearer story than what the movie actually does, in a sense, because, like I said, the way the pacing goes and the way the editing is, the movie feels like two movies in one, kind of. And the fact that it's only 1 hour and 30 minutes is ridiculous, considering that it's a hard movie to get through when it comes to this story. After Beanie Siegel gets, caught up in his situation and he leaves the movie, it feels like a whole nother movie. It feels like a part two to the first one. He has to click up with some more people to do the same thing, and that goes downhill to a certain extent. So it's just like, I don't know. This trailer does a better justice to the story of the film than the actual final cut of the film.
They weren't the only players in town.
It's open. And this rob easier than I thought, huh?
Well, what's up?
Now, to keep their records clean,
We're gonna be about 5 to 10 minutes. Are you listening to me?
We're gonna do 5 to 10 if you don't hurry up.
they'll have to clean out
It's only rats, yo. All my friends is rats, yo.
and wise up.
Your Uncle Dax don't go over 35?
Paper soldiers.
Why are you taking it off? It's not a gold record. Tell me what that is. That's plastic, ain't it?
Coming soon to video and DVD.
And that's exactly why it went straight to video and DVD. You feel me? The budget, the acting, everything that went into this film. You see the names on the screen right now. You got Kevin Hart, Beanie Siegel, Stacey Dash, Michael Rappaport pop up in there for a little bit. You got Cameron that pop up for a little bit. But all of those names and stuff, I feel like these movies, like Paper Soldiers, Paid in Full, to a certain extent, The Wash, a lot of those movies with these rappers in them, you feel me? They just are used as tools to get these rappers into another space, I feel like. And this movie is a prime example of it. Beanie Siegel, with his acting, rapping, you feel me? This was a little blend for him. And this fit his character as far as who he was and everything. This is, acting-wise for him, probably a role that he could pull off in his sleep, you feel me? With this being Kevin Hart's first film, especially as a lead, I would say that his acting ability, in the beginning, it wasn't bad. He was probably he was the best part of this movie overall, from the comedy to the acting and everything in between. He carried the movie. But he is not enough to carry this movie into wanting you to watch it and again and again and again. This is really one of those low-key one-and-dones when you think about it. I feel like overall they could have done the story a little bit better. They could have paced this movie a lot better, especially when you get to the middle. Like I said, you have a lot of jumping around with these plots. You got Sean dealing with Beanie Siegel's character, and like I said, he's coming in and out of jail. He's dealing with his baby mom, getting caught up in other stuff that ain't got nothing to do with Sean. And then after the whole Beanie Siegel plot, you have Sean having to bounce back. Now he's hooking up with his homies that he known from back in the day, that he know for robbing houses, you feel me? So he hook up with him, and now that's a whole little debacle because his man's got a partner that ain't really feeling him. So they go on a couple robberies, and you see how the dynamic plays out with those three. But you could tell that in the end, it's all going to go down bad. And that's exactly what happens. It all goes down bad, and the homie that was feeling a way about Sean in the beginning ends up going to jail, along with Michael Rappaport's character in the very end. It's all a little convoluted, but you basically have 3 instances of the same plot playing out within this film. And yeah, so in the beginning, you have Sean and Birdie go on the house bus, you feel me? After that, falls flat. You got Beanie Siegel's character coming into the movie, beating somebody up at the barbershop for no reason. And then when somebody come out the barbershop, he gonna beat him up too. I ain't gonna lie, Beanie Siegel's character was a crash out the whole movie. He was just tripping. He was on that the whole movie. Getting a haircut with braids in and the barber not even cut. Man, this movie is a trip. But when Beanie Siegel get in the film, you feel me, that's when it turned up a little bit. And then when he leave, it turned back down. And it has the same kind of feel as the first little act in the film. So you got 3 instances of the same plot playing out with the people that's hooked up with Kevin Hart going down, going to jail, you feel me? So I say all that to say that this movie It's one of those films, like I said, it's a passion project to get a lot of people on display. It put Kevin Hart on display, you feel me? It allowed him to tackle this comedy aspect through acting rather than stand-up, and it put him on the map. We got Soul playing after this. We got a lot of classic films, comedic-wise, from Kevin Hart. And we got a lot of classic stand-ups as well. So a lot of people don't realize that these films, even though they may be looked at as bad films, you feel me? They're films that we need. You know, we need these in our community to come up with people. And it ain't easy making a movie. It ain't easy making a movie at all. So you got to credit the young brothers that was willing to do that and put these other brothers on so they could get into the game and have something to fall back on other than just rapping and making music, you know. This was one of those projects that did just that. Like I said, you got movies like this, The Wash. You got Paid in Full to a certain degree with Cameron in it. Even Cameron independent films like that, you know, they put people on. They allow these artists to dive into a different space. And now we see where Cameron at now. You know, he doing a podcast and everything, but it all start from somewhere, you know. All of this start from somewhere. So I can't really knock these films for, you know, being the films that they are and not being as good as they should be in a sense. I could just accept it for what it is, appreciate it for what it is, and take it into consideration that this was a lot of people's first time, you know. It was a lot of people's first time getting into the acting and movie business, but the result of it allowed for these brothers to grow, you know. They making bread now, they doing their thing. So I say all that to say, when it comes to Paper Soldiers, it's a mid movie. It ain't one of those movies that I would, you know, constantly cut back on. I'll probably cut it on just to have something in the background if I'm really, really not even paying attention. But at that point, it ain't even really a movie to really rewatch, you know. It ain't as good as those classic movies like Friday or Paid in Full. It ain't as good as Hustle and Flow. It ain't as good as The Wash or Soul Plane, in my opinion. It's one of the lower tiered films amongst this era of black films, you know, from like the 90s from the 90s and the early 2000s. This was one of the weaker films during that time. So we see Stacey Dash in this film. Even though you see her in this trailer, you really don't even see her a whole lot in the actual movie. It's like I said, this movie is edited and cut up kind of weird, and this trailer does a whole lot better justice to the overall story and plot that it was really trying to convey versus the actual film. By the time Beanie Siegel leaves the film, you get tired, and you're just like, damn, it's still more. And then a few minutes later, it's still more. It's still like, damn. And it's just the same beats, kind of. So if you guys want to check it out. It's on Hulu, you feel me? If you're into, you know, these old independent films from back in the day, it's definitely one of those movies you should check out just to see how, you know, people came up and where it first started with some of these people. So appreciate y'all for tuning into this video. We're going to keep it consistent, you feel me? Let me know what you guys want to see reviewed next in the comments. And I'm going to holler at y'all on the next one. Stay cozy, you feel me?